Welcome to SomewhatNerdy Radio. We are your host. I am Starf Chris. That is Critter.
That's it. That's it, baby.
Behind the scenes, that took me like 5 or 6 takes. I don't know why. It's not like I haven't done it like 1,000 fucking times now. We are your hosts, and this is our podcast. Hello, how you doing?
Professionals. And here's the thing: we have been doing this for 10 years.
Yeah, I think
over
so.
10 years.
Yeah, God, that's we're in the red here.
Yeah, I mean, we got to be close to 200 episodes at this point.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, for sure.
Which is kind of crazy to think, you know. Some people like put out podcasts like this is our 6th or 10th episode. Can you believe it? And it's like, man, if only we had a team. If we had a team of people that would cut these together for us.
It just shows how stupid we are. We could just continue to do it. Most people like got smart like a long time ago and to stop doing it. Like, why am I still doing this?
It's to hang out.
Yeah, it is.
And talk about movies.
Yeah,
and for the couple people that do listen,
we appreciate it.
We do appreciate it. And they probably will agree with what we're going to talk about tonight, which is we are talking about the VHS horror anthology franchise. And we are going to rank them between our favorite and least favorites.
It's a anthology franchise, which is automatically high on my list, and it is the horror franchise, anthology franchise to me. Obviously, I mean, what other one went this deep,
this long?
And I mean, the first one came out in 2012.
Creepshow? Maybe.
But there's one in those.
No, there's a lot of
Creepshow. TV show.
And there's a lot. There's Creepshow 1, Creepshow 2, and I think there's more than that, too.
I don't think so.
There's definitely 2. And
there's 2.
And those are from the 80s.
Yeah.
And then they have some that are newer. And then they have the show.
I don't think that's true. The show doesn't count. It's an anthology. Well, an anthology is, Tales from the Crypt or... Never mind, there's a lot.
Idiot! But no, you're right. VHS is the more kind of well-known
modern
right now.
Yeah.
And it started off humbly, I would say.
For sure. Yeah.
Very low budget, very unknown. I remember it came out and I've done research. I have it pulled up. 2012. So that was a long time ago from very low budget.
Yeah. And obviously, it's had a resurgence over the past couple of years since Shudder, not a sponsor, but should be, took it over. So
I love that Shudder is just, kind of gaining some traction.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, I don't want to say I was there from a very early beginning.
No, but me and you has been there since day one.
I remember. So. What? Getting on it?
Look, I think I originally subscribed to Shudder to watch Joe Bob, when his drive-in started back up.
Yeah.
I think that's the first time I ever subscribed. And then I would cancel it every once in a while if he wasn't doing his show. But then I missed it because there would be some kind of exclusive that was coming to Shudder. And I'm like, oh, I'm just paying Shudder for the rest of my life now.
I think it's one of my favorite streaming services.
For sure.
Yeah. I probably watch that collectively more because I think it's, whether they're good or bad movies, I mean, it's horror.
Yeah.
It is what it is. I can't tell you how many times, you watch a Netflix movie and you're like, that was bullshit.
50% of the time.
And then you have something that's just amazing on Netflix. You're like, wow, that was so good. And then the rest is just bullshit.
Right?
Bullshit.
I like that movie.
It had
the Will Smith movie?
It had potential.
It is such an interesting... This is a side note. We're not talking about that.
Anyway.
So we're going to talk about and rank the VHS franchise. We're going to break down each of the movies and talk about the movies a little bit. And then at the end of the podcast, we'll give each of our rankings, which is different, I think.
We have a tendency to usually line up on our rankings.
Yeah, it's usually one, I think Halloween 3 is the best Halloween, that type of thing. But.
Well, yeah. And usually, if we will have some hot takes. It's usually me with more of a hot take.
I would imagine universally, I think, I'm going to pat myself on us on the back a little bit. We're pretty good at judging movies. I would imagine our ranking for VHS is going to be kind of universal.
I would say so. I mean, because it's pretty cut and dry.
There's a definite bad one.
There's definitely bad, and then there's an obvious
one on top. The middle ground
ones,
and there's a good one on top, yeah.
I mean, I don't think that there's a lot of wiggle room like these, like you would with something that you have
Halloween
or Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah,
some people will say, Dream Warriors is the absolute best, but I still think the original's the best.
It's the second best. Dream Warriors.
See, there you go. And that's arguably everyone's favorite.
Yeah.
I understand why. But I can tell you this, I will rewatch the first one before any other one.
Oh, I might rewatch Dream Warriors.
I don't know. I just feel like collectively, except for the...
Have we done Nightmare on Elm Street?
No, it'll be on the list.
Yeah, we need to do that eventually.
We'll be on it.
So, let's go ahead and get into it. We're going to start with... VHS. Well, no, the name of it's VHS. There's no numbers or anything yet.
It's VHS. Came out in 2012.
It's 2012. We're both into anthology series a lot. I love, Twilight Zone, Outer Limits. Outer Limits, actually.
I love independent stories. Like independent,
bite size.
Bite size.
Yeah.
Like ends quickly.
But I'm a really big Outer Limit fan. I like Outer Limits more than I like Twilight Zone, but I'm more into sci-fi stuff, sci-fi horror, and Outer Limits is a little bit more of that. And that's what VHS kind of more reminds me of. It's a little bit more sci-fi. Obviously, there's a horror stuff, but there's always like weird alien stories, and
it's a mixed bag.
It is a mixed bag,
and I don't think you can put it in a box of like what to expect.
No.
So let's just briefly talk about the overarching story of VHS, and then kind of talk about quickly mention what each story is called.
Yeah.
And then if we like it, if we don't, and just kind of brush through these because we got a lot to go through on this.
Yeah, and let me know what one is your favorite one, and then we'll talk about whatever our least favorite ones
of each movie.
Yeah.
Okay, I like that. The overarching story. This is how it all kicked off. Why it's called VHS. These total scumbag dudes. I mean, they're like the worst people you can imagine. Essentially, they're just a bunch of punk guys that are basically a gang.
We'll basically tape snuff tapes and stuff like that, and sell it to the highest bidder or whatever.
And they were.
And that's actually called Tape 56. There's a name to that.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Tape 56 is the name of it.
Oh, okay, cool. I did not know that.
I have the list of the names, and Critter has the list of what he thinks the name should be, just to be clear on what we're about to do.
Yeah. Well, overarching stories I don't give a total name to, but I introduce these guys as scumbags.
Okay.
So they're hired by some body to find a tape in some guy's house, and if they bring it to him, they'll know it when they see it, and he'll pay them a lot of money. They go break in, find a dead guy, and they start looking for the tape.
I call these bumper segments.
That's exactly what they are.
They're bumper segments.
That's exactly what they are.
Most of the time, they're forgettable. The first VHS set kind of what I thought all the VHSs should have followed. They don't.
Yeah, a more coherent kind of story throughout. Yeah. So, all right, let's kick it off with what the stories are called. So the first one is, what do they call it there?
Amateur Night.
Oh, I call it Siren, which I think if you...
It is the name of it.
Yeah, which is, the spin-off is, this turned into a spin-off movie.
This is one of two segments of VHS that spun off into a movie.
Yes.
And this spun off into Siren, which is an okay movie.
Yeah,
it was
that great. Yeah.
This 20-minute segment of this movie is way better than Siren.
Yeah, it is, but it's a long segment, and it's good. A lot happens, but
this is what this is the iconic to me VHS scene. This is where I wish they would have kind of more stayed, and it would have been a different series. This is obviously my favorite segment of this movie. Being my favorite, it's probably the one I've watched the most. I actually do a really messed up thing with VHS. I watch segments a lot. Like, I'll go find the segment, especially on the app that me and you use to watch movies. You can go right to the segment. So I do skip really bad segments a lot, and I do watch the VHS series kind of a lot. And I've said a lot. All
right, well... It's a great segment, but honestly, it's as iconic as it is. It's the second segment. What do they call the second segment?
Second Honeymoon.
Oh, I call it Hitchhiker,
which is probably a better name.
This is the most. It's not iconic. It hangs with me because it's the fucking scariest one.
It may be the most realistic
segment. You know how realistic
VHS
stuff scares me. And when you know the scene that we're talking about, well, I'll just say it like some dude in his sleep gets stabbed in the neck and he doesn't know it's coming. He has no idea things are going poorly.
He's on a trip with his wife. And
he thinks things are fine.
It would be like you're a happy marriage.
It kind of seemed like she wasn't having a bad time.
And then your wife's girlfriend stabs you in the neck. Because that's the fucking movie.
Because that's how you end stuff. I mean, like, could have tried counseling first. Or divorce. There's all kinds of better solutions.
Literally anything.
It's not like he had a lot of money. He was complaining about missing $100.
And they were sleeping in a roach motel.
And separate beds.
Yeah, well, that's probably the first sign right there.
Yeah, maybe so. All right, so moving right along. What's the third one called that they call it?
I think this is a homage to Friday the 13th. This is Thursday the 17th.
Oh, you think that's homage?
Yeah.
That's some great detective work.
Is that too much on the nose?
That's great detective work.
I was using my brain power there. Fuck off.
I can tell. I called it Camp Death, but I mean, like...
Well, that's the same thing.
Yeah, I actually think theirs is better in this circumstance, but it's kind of whatever. A girl brings friends there to hunt down a killer that killed her friends like early on in her life.
This is the weakest one out of this show. On this movie, I'm pretty sure.
Oh yeah, it was. I definitely forgot about this one completely. The next one, what do they call the next one?
I'm more interested in what you're going to call it because you'll never guess what the actual segment name is.
Oh, I just call it long distance relationship.
Yep. The sick thing that happened to Emily when she was younger.
If
I had a gun up to your head, could you have ever guessed that?
No, I mean, like, I get it. It makes sense.
It makes sense.
But whatever.
But why would you call it that?
This one is creepy. But I think that the dude is just an asshole in this.
Yeah, this is like a girl in a relationship long distance that is not really in a relationship with this guy that she's on FaceTime with.
They grew up together.
They did, but did they, or is that memory implants from the aliens that take her organs?
Oh yeah, there's ghosts and aliens in this one. It's a very murky storyline, but it's very
good.
creepy.
It's fine. Yeah,
when they show the kids, they're like kids just run in while they're behind her and like do the doorknob, and she's very calm. She's like, I can't believe that happened. It's like what?
She was super calm until she cut her arm open trying to get the anal probe out of her arm.
Oh no, she was very calm about that.
She's like, she was too calm.
She's like, look at this. Calm. She's like, what are you doing? Yeah, even though this guy's in on it with the aliens. Oh, by the way, the spoilers.
Yeah, I don't know if we were clear. We're going to talk about each of these movies. So it's spoilers. Hopefully you've watched all these movies before. This movie came out in 2012. But later we'll be talking about VHS Beyond, which came out last month.
Yeah, it has some scary moments. It's maybe the scariest one for supernatural reasons. I think.
And this kind of has the paranormal activity, like
it's not a lot of gore
to it, or, you know.
I mean,
not a lot of gore until he removes her organs from the.
I thought it was like an alien fetus.
I think those are kidneys, and they grow organs in her.
Whatever.
That was my take on it.
I thought it looked like an alien fetus to me.
Yeah, the great thing about VHS is they don't fucking explain anything.
Yeah, and then then he just does it to another girl. Whatever. All right, so
or they regrow her back.
So what's the next one called?
10/31/98.
Okay, yeah, I call it Halloween Party. So
there you
it's
go.
fine. This one had some creepy moments. Is a haunted house? These guys go to a party to a haunted house. Didn't realize that there was like some kind of ritual going on in the attic. They stumble across it, and then they freak out, run out, and they're like, "Oh, we got to go save the girl that these people apparently are sacrificing." Surprise! The girl's the problem.
Imagine that. Always the problem.
Oh wow.
98% of the listeners are men, and they are agreeing with me right now.
Jesus Christ, dude.
My name's Snarf Chris. That wasn't Critter. If you couldn't tell from our voices.
Yeah,
anyway, go ahead.
Obviously. It was good. The special effects in this one, I really liked. The arms coming out of the wall, grabbing them, that was super cool.
Yeah.
I really thought this one had a lot of cool effects with them trying to leave the house that was haunted and trying to keep them in.
Yeah.
When they removed the door, that was really cool. Overall, I mean, it sucked they helped that ghost, and then the ghost killed him for no reason. Helped them.
That's kind of the theme of VHS. You're always fucked if you're in one of these movies.
That's true. I mean, does
any of these as a whole name a VHS where it has a happy ending? I've just seen all these movies this week, and I can't think of one.
Yeah, you're right.
I think everything ends bad for everybody in the movie.
Yeah, in the epilogue of this, when they don't really find the tape, they just find each other dead, and then the guy that they found in the house was already dead, killed them. So whatever, they don't explain anything. End of movie. Moving on. VHS 2 in 2013.
So yeah, a year later, they released another one. They realized after the first one, they should continue this
potential, and this one also had a decent arc throughout. And what I really appreciated was you see boobs right away.
It's called Tape 49.
Oh, I called it boobs right away. It's boobs right away, and then you also see some penis. So it's something for everybody, I guess.
Something for everybody.
It's hey, whatever floats your boat. So private investigators are hired to find a kid or a young adult guy that's been missing, and his mom's wanting to find him. And they break into a house, find a laptop with TVs going everywhere, which is a recurring theme of stack. If I go to a house and I see stacks of TVs, I'm out.
It's my dream to have that.
I'm out.
I want a stack of TV that plays static all the time.
Fuck.
So, actually,
going to your house
I'm
again.
like working on a game room that I've been working on for like 3 years. That's what I want in one of the corners.
Nope.
Why?
Nope.
I'm not a killer.
Sure, until you get the static TVs
I'm
everywhere.
getting static TVs everywhere.
All right, so that's the overarching story. What do they call the first story?
Oh, the first story is called Phase 1 Clinical Trials.
Oh, all right, that's a good one. I call it Bionic Eye. I get lazy on some of these.
Sure, yeah, Bionic Eye, yeah. Both of them fit.
I mean,
It actually doesn't make sense that it's called Phase 1 because this would be Phase 2 because they meet Phase 1 inside of the story.
and with her
ear, yeah.
So this guy gets an implant. He can see ghosts with
Yeah.
it, and
Yeah,
the ghost,
yeah.
because the ghost knows that he can see them.
They can fuck with them.
They can fuck with him, and
So
it
they
goes bad.
Yeah, it goes really fucking bad.
And apparently the girl's like, we can make ghosts go away by showing boobs, and that's what she did.
Yes.
So he's like, that's cool. His house was really cool. I liked his house.
Actually, the house is fucking awesome.
Yeah.
There's a key point in this house when he goes and opens the front door, and the front door is outside.
Yeah.
It's in the patio.
Yeah,
I
by the front
was fucking. I
was
told
like,
my wife,
"What?"
I'm like, "This is the house we're building." She's like, "You want your front door to go to your swimming pool?"
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Why
Yeah.
not?
I mean, don't.
I
do
want
this.
the male guy to almost drown every time he drops off package to me.
So the next segment, what do they call it?
A ride in the park.
Oh, that's a good one. I call it Zombie Bike Ride because I very on
For
the
sure.
nose.
This is
The best.
The best. And I'm going to go ahead and put my foot down. This is probably the best segment on any VHS.
I 100% agree.
Yeah.
I when I first saw this, I'm like, oh, this is it.
This is it.
This is it.
And I'm not even blowing smoke up. This is shot so well and so smart. And by storyline wise, and it's just perfect.
Everything about it happened so quick. Guy runs into a woman, turns into a zombie.
He has a GoPro on his head.
He has a GoPro this whole time, and then like she bites him. He fights her off. He turns into a zombie, turns other people into zombies,
And
then,
that's it.
That's it. But then he has like flashes of like his humanity still,
yeah.
and that was the very cool part. But like you seeing living the moment as a zombie of the interaction and hearing the bones crunch and all this stuff, super cool. Really loved it.
Best segment.
Best segment out of every
And
single
I'm not
one.
even like trying to overblow it. It is legit my favorite segment.
Oh, when I first saw it, I'm like, this is awesome. As I was watching it the first time in 2013, I remember like, this is it. And I rewatched it again for this list, and I'm like, oh yeah, this is still fucking hitting hard. Next up, we got, what do they call it?
Safe Haven.
Oh, I call it Death Cult.
And no lie, this is my second favorite segment in all VHSs.
It is a lot.
I love cults and stuff like that. I don't. I'm gonna rephrase that.
Yeah,
I
why
don't
don't you try that
cults.
again, Slick?
I love researching about like death cults and especially Inkarinja, and which is a Japanese cult, and a bunch of Korean death cults. I'm fascinated with like researching this. This is such a fucked up, realistic view of some death cults that happen. Was obviously the supernatural take that happens with it.
This is the bloodiest.
Yeah.
The most gruesome.
Yes.
The most ridiculous.
Yeah.
Thing I have seen, and the story within the side of the story about the guy, the filmmaker crew, the documentary crew that's filming this death cult, the affair that the people are having. Fine, whatever.
Yeah, but it pays off at the end. That's the key point of.
Well, it could have been his kid too. It didn't matter.
Sure.
But it doesn't matter. The fact that Demon's like, Papa.
And
he just cries laughing.
but like the Korean like cult about it, but there's so many realistic cults that this is based off of. There's a Japanese cult, obviously, Heaven's Gate when they're drinking the Kool-Aid.
Well, they have that scene in there.
Yeah, so all this is like part of this segment. Again, I don't love cults, so I'm going to rephrase that. I just love researching about and learning about cults, so I don't get sucked into
This
one
was good, and I remember it. It was very bloody to a point where I had an issue.
Yeah.
And I'm not super into gore. Like I like unique kills, but when this was just to a point, I'm just like, God damn, I wish they would tone it down. But I loved it. It was great. Moving along, we got the next one. I think that was a lot of fun, but
It is.
It
Kid actors.
no, it bothered me. What do they call it?
Slumber Party Alien Abduction.
Oh, I call it Kids vs. Aliens, which
Well,
is the movie.
That's the movie.
Yeah. So
this
this one
is
got
the second
spin-off.
part that got out of the movie, yeah.
This was kids at a sleepover, what they would do. They do a sleepover and then aliens attack. And
so like 10-year-old, your older sister is like babysitting you.
They were
and their
12, 13.
boyfriends. Yeah, whatever.
And they were punk kids. They were, but that's what you would do. That's exactly what they do.
No, I don't think I would film my sister having sex.
They were just making out.
Yeah, okay.
But then they go in and mess with them.
I'm just saying.
They cockblock. That's exactly what kids would do.
Yeah, that's true.
That's exactly what they do.
But anyway, they're all in the house, and the house is getting raided by Greys.
Violent Greys.
Violent Greys.
So I think this was really well done.
Yeah, no, it was good. I love this one.
Obviously, my issue on this is that they show the dog die. In the horrible way. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah,
dude,
I don't care.
I know you don't. The dog was so cute. So
the
sweet.
dog was cute.
And it was like it was protective.
Look,
of
I'm never gonna hurt a dog. I just care.
I'll never understand. I'll never
it
understand
doesn't
that.
bother me whatsoever. I was hoping Jason would kick the dog. I'm that guy.
Jesus Christ! I don't even want. All right. Anyway, honestly, the epilogue of this was also very good about the ending. The guy that they were looking for was one of the guys on the laptop that they were watching all these videos with, and he shoots himself, blows his jaw off, and then he runs off. And then as soon as he runs off, the detectives break in the house, and that's what they see. And then that was super cool. I love this story arc.
Yeah,
it was collective, and then
this is the last time you're going to see this story arc.
Yeah, well, no, it's not.
Yeah,
you get the overall story arc and viral throughout the entire thing. It makes sense.
Oh yeah, that's true.
It's just
that's
not
true.
well done.
It's just not well done.
They tried. They had a good idea. It was just not great. Anyway, so moving along, let's talk about the next one. It has the last kind of cohesive storyline, overarching storyline.
Yes and no. Yeah.
Yes and no. That's a perfect example. So this is VHS Viral.
It's called Vicious Circles is the overlong storyline, the bumpers.
Okay. I don't have a name for it, but this came out in 2014. What do they call the first one?
Dante the Great.
Oh, I call it Magic Act.
Yeah. You know what? I just realized after hearing this one just kind of set it in stone. You were naming Tales from the Crypt episodes. This is how Tales from the Crypt would name their episodes. 100%.
Really?
Yes. Okay. This is 100. If you were the Crypt Keeper, this is... I'm telling you the tales of...
The Magic Act.
That's the Magic Act! That's how he would name it. Dude, the Crypt Keeper, I remember watching that as a little kid. All of us were way too young to be watching the Crypt Keeper.
He was so creepy. Yeah. That was such a good puppet. Anyway.
Do you remember his rap?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, awesome.
I mean, I can't do it for you.
I couldn't do it either, but it's okay.
Gets a magic cape that's actually magic and craves human flesh.
This is the first time on VHS that they started doing things that I didn't like. I want the camera to be...
They try to be cinematic with it.
I don't want it cinematic. I don't want it documentary style. I want found footage. And this is coming from somebody that doesn't particularly care for found footage films. This is the first time that you watch it and go, don't do that.
Okay, I'm sorry I brushed past this. So we talked about it has an overarching story, but it didn't make sense in the beginning. They tried to be cinematic with this. It was like a loving couple. It was like it seemed like a rom-com, and then she just disappears during some kind of event. They don't know. They really explain anything. An ice cream truck abducts her, but she was in a trance, and then it's him tracking it down.
And it never makes any sense as it goes through. So.
But I will talk about that as we go. The next one, what do they call this story?
Parallel Monsters.
Oh, I call it Parallel Universes.
I'm going to go out on a record. This is my maybe third or fourth favorite segment.
You are a weird individual.
All of VHS. I love this segment.
It's so fucking dumb.
It is... I love parallel universe type stuff.
You just like to see monster wieners.
I love monster wieners and monster vaginas.
Monster vaginas.
So, I'm all about it. But I love this segment. This is the saving grace. This edition of VHS, this segment alone is one of my favorites.
All of these segments, there's not many segments in this, and it's a super long movie. It's almost 2 hours.
Yeah, and this is a really short segment.
This was the shortest one. Yeah. Look, it's unique-ish. I mean, I didn't expect that to happen.
Nope.
When I first saw it.
Why would you?
Yeah. But I was just kind of like, okay, whatever. I mean, I remember, all right, so here's a note I wrote. Man invents machine that shows a parallel universe and meets his parallel self, and they decide to switch places. Of course, one side is kind of evil. And then I put, they have monster dicks. And the women have monster vaginas, and that's the end of my notes for that.
That's basically the whole segment.
That's the end of it. I talked about I was like, I don't even want to talk about this anymore. You know what? Fine. I know parallel universes are always cool.
Yeah.
I mean, I love that Futurama episode of parallel stuff. There's a movie I'm going to put you on here soon about a parallel universe, and I think you're going to love it. The next one, what do they call it?
What do you call it?
I call it Pro Skater.
Bone Storm.
Oh, that's stupid.
This is the worst segment in the entire movie.
I actually like this segment.
Fuck.
I like the protagonists because they're assholes, and I mean, like, they go down to...
They're skaters.
They're skaters that go to Tijuana to...
And I knew these guys in high school. Most of, if you grew up in the 90s, of everybody trying to shoot their skate videos.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, everybody knew this group of guys. But these guys took it to an extreme where I'm like, I want to...
They were too badass.
Yeah.
And they were very small guys for being as badass as they were.
For sure.
But, I mean, they're used to pain, so that's kind of the whole situation. In between all of this, so this is the last story.
Yeah,
there's only 3 stories, but the overall arcing story has mini stories, right? And they have, like, a guy, when they're chasing viral guys trying to get footage, they're chasing the ice cream truck, and he gets pulled behind it and just gets shredded. There's the gang where they accidentally kill the guy's dog, and so he kills everybody at that barbecue.
Yeah.
Another dead dog, which I'm just not... I don't know why I have so many dead dogs recently. Then the final one was the girl that gets in a fake taxi situation and then pulls a gun on the guy.
Yeah, that's
right.
And
he's like...
a porn producer or something like that, yeah.
And she's like, you know, my boyfriend gave you a sex tape and you published
That's
it
right.
and ruined my life.
Yeah.
I'm gonna film you doing weird shit now. They get in a wreck and it all goes to hell. But yeah, so I mean, that was them trying to have an overarching story, and the epilogue made no sense.
And this was the last time that we got a VHS before Shudder was like, stop doing that shit.
Yeah,
we're gonna do it right.
You're getting too artsy with it, and they tried. I think VHS Viral got too big in their britches, and they're like, we're gonna try.
So, and put it in perspective, Viral came out in 2015.
Yeah, and then it stopped.
And then VHS 94 came out in 2021. So this is just in the past few modern times that Shudder was like, no, we need to continue to do this.
They did that with that and Slasher.
Yes,
which
yeah.
both needed to continue on. So then they took this, and I think this is a very strong movie, and they kind of go back to the roots of police breaking into a movie cult ring where they were bootlegging and finding, like...
something.
It's faces. They were finding all the
death,
they called it contraband.
Yeah.
Videotape stuff that was just, you know,
dead people all over
fringe.
the place
yeah.
for watching the videos, and this SWAT team, you know, going and clearing police.
Now
and that's called Holy Hell.
Oh, that's a horrible name. I love the first one.
Do you?
I do. I love the monster, the way it looked.
Yeah.
I mean, overall, the story don't care about, but I fucking love creature features, man. And when they first showed it in the pipe, I'm like, what the fuck was that?
This is called Storm Drain.
Oh, I call it Ratman.
Because
they talk about Ratman.
It should be called, yeah.
And they call it Rataman.
Rataman,
yeah. A news anchor is investigating, like, things, and then they hear a noise in a storm drain, and they investigate, and then they come across people that worship Ratman.
Sure.
But they talked about Ratman earlier in the thing, and they thought the guy was crazy. And
this is everybody's modern favorite segment of this, because I hear this is, like, they also mention Ratman in other features in the other movies, too. Like, he's in a background, or he's on a news thing, or something. So this is, like, the unofficial mascot of VHS now.
Look, man, he's scary.
He
looking.
is. He's scary if you just look at him. The segment is not that scary now.
No, the segment isn't scary, but like, overall, when she gets on the news and starts glitching out and saying, like, Ratman, while she's just calm, and then vomits acid on the guy's face and it melts off.
Yeah.
That was such a cool scene, and then she goes, "Hail Ratman" at the end.
Yeah. It's good.
News at 11. Hail Ratman. I was like, oh, that was cool. So I do like that segment, but the next segment I think is maybe my favorite of this movie, and it's what do they call it?
This segment is called the Empty Wake.
Oh, okay. I call it Empty Wake Tornado Zombie Attack.
There you go. Because this has a little bit of everything. That's it. That is the segment,
and it's really good.
It is really good.
It's creepy because it's kind of like don't know exactly. You could think it's going to be more supernatural.
Supernatural, yeah.
And then it just turns out it's a zombie, and the zombie is fucked up
for
looking.
No reason fucking whatsoever, they get hit by a tornado. that destroys everything.
And then you don't know if she survives the tornado or zombie attack, but she walks off and you're like, is she a zombie? Is she okay? I don't know. Super cool. Liked it a lot. It was tense. It was scary. And then it was also kind of goofy.
Yes.
I think it covered all bases. The next one is cool. It's really cool.
My favorite segment of the movie.
I think it's the coolest one. It's not my favorite.
It's my favorite.
It's
segment.
The coolest one.
It's my favorite segment.
Because I mean,
it's so awesome.
This guy turns people into killer robots.
It is so Japanese horror.
It's Indonesian
for sure. Yeah. But there are so many like Japanese what's a
Technoman or whatever.
Yeah, a lot of those Japanese weird body stuff like that happens.
But these guys look crazy cool.
And this is called The Subject, by the way.
I call it Mad Scientist Robot Killer Maker.
Yeah, that's yeah. Two on the nose, but yes, that it's very close.
But it was the reason why the last two names were such on the nose because they're so cool.
Yeah.
I mean, like they were so. I mean, like when you watch, you're like, oh wow, a lot's happening here,
yes.
And you can describe it in these amount of words.
And it's just a mad scientist that kidnaps people and turns them into robots.
Yeah, and then police
killing
raid,
machines, and the police raid them, and then the girl still has her mind, and she tries to escape and kills all the cops.
Yeah, well,
and then explosions.
It's murkier than that because there's a lot going on. Super cool, worth a watch. What's the next one called?
Terror.
I call it Militia Mayhem.
This is my second favorite.
I love this one too. Honestly, this is again. Shudder came out strong with VHS 94 because this one I didn't know what was happening until the end, and I'm like, fucking cool.
So this is a vampire story where they figure
you don't know it's a
vampire story
until
the
very
end.
Late in the game,
and they figure out vampire blood's explosive in the sun. So a white supremacist group is using vampire blood to basically do terrorist attacks. So they drain the vampire
and he comes
blood
alive every day
because
they just shoot him in the
head.
A
little bit more, and then they're just taking his blood and they planning this big old like terrorist attack on the government building, and they fuck up because they get drunk and the vampire kills them all. It's fucking great.
Oh, and the way the vampire blood explodes, it is so cool. And the
vampires
look awesome.
Yeah, the vampire looks really good, and the blood explosion is a violent explosion. Yeah. It's not just like it catches on fire.
And these aren't sexy vampires, so it's not I'm gonna bite your neck. It's not even Twilight vampires where like, oh, you're gonna. It's not even Blade 2 vampires. We're like, well, that's the most aggressive. Nice. Nope, this is the most aggressive vampire bite you will ever see in your entire life. They unhinge their entire jaw, and it looks like just a whole thing of teeth. It's incredible. Absolutely worth it. The epilogue is really kind of cool because it turns out people that were on the cop team were the ones that were in charge of the ring.
Yeah, sure. It
was weak, but it was kind of cool because it was like, it was something.
After the first two VHSs, I stopped caring about the bumpers until one of the later ones, which go into in a second. So yeah, the bumpers they're throwaway. They're 100% throwaway. And they definitely became throwaway with this one, mostly because this is, I think, the first time when I was watching them where I'm like, I don't want the bumpers. Just give me the fucking movies at this point.
Look, I get why they do it. I'm not going to stop.
You need them. I know. And speaking of bumpers, this is VHS 99, which is the next one that came out in 2022. There's no bumpers on this.
Yeah, I guess
there is no bumpers.
It kind of is because it's an overarching story, but this was unique but it was bumpers, and it was didn't matter.
No.
So this one was the goofiest one in my opinion.
This is definitely the comedy version of. This is the equivalent of, I don't know, when they figured out Freddy was funny like later and they want to do like him more of a comedy. This is definitely the most goofiest one. Yeah, for sure.
And it's fine overall, but I mean, I think like when we talk about the first one here, what do they call the first segment?
Shredding.
Oh, I call it Haunted Band Demon Zombies. You don't like it?
All right, Crypt Keeper again.
I even laugh like them. These zombies look really cool.
So it's a punk rock band. They break into an old venue.
In the sewer, or like underground. It was like underground, whatever.
It's just the worst music. It's the worst type of band.
It's early. It's
early punk stuff. I hate punk music.
It's not even punk.
It's the quasi punk stuff. Yeah. You hate me on it. I don't care.
But I love punk music, but whatever. I mean, the zombies looked awesome.
Yeah, no, that looked good.
But overall, kind of forgettable story. Whatever. What do they call the next one?
Suicide Bed.
Oh, I call it Suicide Sorority.
Yeah, okay. That's a movie from the 80s, by the way.
Suicide Sorority?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Okay. I think the monster in this, the ghost, looked awesome.
Yeah,
when you first saw her, but the more you saw her, the
you
less
saw
you liked
her because you realized they didn't move her face. They just had a static face. So
when they first showed it, I was like, "Oh
awesome,
shit!"
Yeah. But no, this is really good. This actually a lot of them do, but a lot of them this one most remind me of like a Tales from the Crypt type thing, where it was like the twist and the kind of overarching story where everybody gets it in the end. This is that.
And no lie, they had it coming. So whatever. The next one was awesome because it was just Legends of the Hidden Temple, but fucked up.
This is obviously my favorite segment of this, and on top of my top 5 favorite segments of all VHSs, I fucking love this segment. There's multiple reasons. Obviously, it's Legends of the Hidden Temple, like you just said, but the main actor is also Trevor in Grand Theft Auto 5.
Okay.
So this segment's just so good.
He plays really great shitty characters.
Yeah, he really does.
And he's maybe one of the more famous people you see in the VHS franchise.
100%, yeah.
He's like maybe one of the only recognizable people you see in this.
Yeah.
Honestly,
like this guy's worked in a lot of fucking movies.
Yeah.
And he's also Trevor in Grand Theft Auto 5, which, 20 million people would know him
and
from.
he plays the best scummiest game show host. And that's what it is.
Imagine Mark Summers, but like asshole.
Just a scumbag, yeah. And like he was on a 90s kids TV show, but he was like a 70s like late night dating show host. But
yeah.
But super great, and it turns out like
it's a really weird too, because it's like imagine Legends of the Hidden Temple, but the temple was real.
Yeah,
and there was like a god inside of the temple that if you
actually grants wishes.
Yes,
yeah. I actually liked it, and like this mom did everything for her daughter to get the wish, like get revenge on the host that she didn't win, and then when she got her there to do the wish, the kid wished her parents dead.
Yes,
it's like fuck. All right. Next off, what we got?
The name of it is The Gawkers.
Oh, okay. I call it Teenage Pervy Kids.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So,
that's the whole premise of it.
So this is where the overarching story turns into a story, and it's. I call it, it's like they spy and see she's a Medusa. That's what I call her. Instead of a Gorgon, I call her a Medusa.
I said Medusa actually too. This is a really good segment though.
It is good. It is good. It's exactly how fucking pervy teenagers would act in the fucking late 90s for sure.
Yeah, and then it has that again. It has that whole Tales from the Crypt. These are the ones that make me feel more Tales of the Crypt.
Well, Tales from the Crypt is very more comic-y.
Yeah.
I mean, like I get it. And look, this wasn't bad. It just was. It was just goofy,
and I like it a little bit more than.
Well, we'll get into the ranking later. So let's go to the next one.
To Hell and Back.
I call it Y2K Cult Sacrifice for Some Cult. This one is the goofiest one out of all of them. If you can imagine that everything we talked about, this is the goofiest fucking one.
This is my favorite. The second favorite one on this one.
Is it because you like Mabel?
Mabel.
That's the girl that guides them through the hellscape. Mabel.
Oh, is that the character?
That's the girl's name.
No, I don't even remember the girl's name. I
like the dudes. I like the dudes that got sucked into hell accidentally.
Yes,
and they were just.
It's just a fun segment.
They were just a couple of idiots.
By the way, it's not a fun segment because it's obviously terrifying that they get sent to hell and everything like that. But just how they handle and continue to bicker while
I love
they're
the bickering.
in hell.
Like, you can't fight. You've never been in a fight. I took karate. You took karate in 8th grade.
I watched your TV. Like, yeah, this segment's real. This segment and and Ozzy's Dungeon is the saving grace for this VHS for me. So
look, it is 100% the goofiest, slapstickiest movie, but it is entertaining, and I think because it really leans into what movies and TV was like in the late 90s and 99 and early 2000s. It was the era of Friends. It was the era of American Pie. It was that kind of humor and that kind of I think they captured it very well. Solid movie. Next up is we're starting to get into the newer ones. We have VHS 85.
Came out in
2023.
So
this is where we get to something that I think Snarf Chris doesn't like, because it's a documentary style, and it was very documentary. Like, it was like a news segment.
It is a documentary. Yeah.
Like you would watch this on 60 Minutes type of thing.
For sure.
And that's how they broke it down. And look, it was fine. I kind of don't know what's going on in it.
It's called Total Copy.
Okay, I get that, but
yes, I get it too.
But anyway,
Total Copy.
What do they call the first segment?
No wait.
I call it I'm on a boat.
I'm on a boat.
But I mean, this was I love this because 85 I think got a lot of hate, but this segment is solid.
This segment is solid. It is.
And this is kind of like the segment that makes the whole movie. Like,
for sure.
I feel like this should have been more of the overarching story because this makes more sense because this plays into a different segment further down the line.
Yeah.
And it's these two together are great. These people go on a boat, get killed by some person that you don't know anything about. And because they were in this water that said do not swim in this water wouldn't allow them to die, but they keep their fucking injuries and they're confused. Like, are we zombies? Like, zombies don't do this.
Yeah.
He's like, well, normal people can't do this, and he pulls out his own brains. it's cool. And then they in this segment, like, we're gonna get revenge, and then segment ends. Super cool. What do they call the next one?
God of Death.
I call it Once Upon a Time in Mexico.
Okay. Again. All right.
This was fine.
It's fine. Look, this whole entire movie is on my fine list. So
I mean, you won't be pissed you watch it like you would VHS Viral. So I guess I already gave an indication of where that's going to lie.
Viral has one of my favorite segments.
Of course it does.
But yes, I agree with you.
I mean, this is earthquake happens during a news segment, and then like as they're being evacuated, they try to get out through the basement and come across an ancient Mexican god.
Yes. Yeah.
And then
earthquake and blah 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 blah.
Yeah, sacrificing. It's
fine.
Yeah, you're gonna hear that a lot for this one.
Yes, you are.
So the next one, what do they call that one?
TKNOGD.
Techno God.
Yep.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Yeah. It is. It's actually on the
good.
nose. So
I call it One Woman Show, but.
I like how you go, yeah, that's a really good name. One woman show.
Yeah, theirs is better. So, I mean...
Why I'm not in the business of naming episodes.
I mean, mostly this was just for my notes. I wasn't trying to name them. I was trying to remind myself of shit. I didn't care for this a whole lot because it was long.
A performance artist is trying to... awaken the god of technology. That's literally the whole thing.
And then she did. Yeah, she did. But they showed a thing. It's like, hey, if you do this in the virtual reality world, like, I can show you how to pick up a cup in the virtual reality world and like this and that. And it feels like you're doing it in the real world. And it's like, and so the opposite was this, and the techno god stripped her skin in the virtual world, and that happened on stage. What I like, after they see what happened to her, they all start clapping like it was like performance art. Like, oh, okay. I was like, oh yeah. So that was interesting. So the next segment, what do they call the next segment?
Ambrosia.
I call it congratulations. But this is the great thing, because this is where I think it really saves the movie as a whole, because this is the continuation of the boat scene.
Yeah.
So this girl is part of, again, some freaking cult. God, so many goddamn cults in VHS.
There's a lot of cults in the real world.
You would know better than me, cult lover. Where there's a girl named Ruth who had been like 16 to be inducted in this cult, which is a family affair. She had to kill 7 people, and so she kills 7 people in the boat. But what I love is their revenge was to fill a water gun up with lake water and squirt her with it. Gave it to a kid and said, "Hey, go squirt your, whoever this was," and so they did. And their whole thing is like, then they call the cops on them, so cops raid the place, and they're like, all right, we're going to fight them, but if we get arrested, if we're about to get arrested, kill yourself. No one gets arrested.
Yeah.
And so they get overtaken, and she tries to kill herself and comes back to life.
Lake water.
And she comes back to life, and she's like, no, and she gets arrested, which is the revenge. It's
fine.
It's fine. I liked it.
Yes, I liked it too. I'll go ahead and say that. Look, I'm no secret, or I'm not trying. This is one of my least favorite VHSs. So, I'm trying to find things to say about it, but I'm like, this is the one I've seen the least amount of times. On top of that, so I just don't even have anything to say about some of these segments.
I get you.
Yeah.
So what do they call the next segment?
Dream Kill.
Oh, okay. I could just call it Break In, because I named it before I actually got into it. But this one also had a very famous person in here.
I don't know.
It had Freddie Rodriguez. I think he's related to Robert Rodriguez. He's in a lot of Robert Rodriguez movies. He was in Planet Terror.
He also starred in Robert Rodriguez's Planet Terror.
I just said that.
To whom he bears no relation.
Does he say that?
Yes, it says that on his wiki page.
Perfect. But he's in a lot of Robert Rodriguez stuff.
Yeah.
And I think he's good. I like.
He is good and stuff. So
yeah, which is weird because like he's in this for a minute, a hot minute. He plays a detective that cracks the case and then gets killed by the person that he busts, essentially. This kid can tell the future using videotapes. That's the whole thing.
Yeah, that's the whole thing.
And then the epilogue, the goo turns into, fights back and, I don't know, kills everybody.
Sure.
But after he kills everybody and brings them back to the room and has him do the aerobics tape, that was kind of funny.
I forgot about that.
That
was kind of good.
And that's it. All right,
that's it.
Now we're on to the most recent one that came out recently. This is VHS Beyond.
And this, to me, puts, I hope, VHS back on the direction of being good. This just came out. And from what I'm hearing already, universally liked, mostly because it's awesome. So it goes back into
documentary style.
A documentary style, which
very polished documentary.
It's a very polished documentary, which I don't particularly care for. I want when VHS is happening, I want to know that it's happening from a camera.
The pacing was better though.
The pacing's better and it's more clean,
mm-hmm.
so you can know when the documentary is happening and when the segments are happening. Sometimes on some of the other VHSs, like the bumper will happen and it'll jump right into the story and be like, oh wait, am I watching the bumper or am I watching the story? This one's you're watching the documentary, you're watching the story. So
it's the bumper is aliens or like a haunted house that could be. They originally thought it was ghosts and then it turned into aliens and then the rest of the thing is about aliens.
And the name of that is Abduction Deduction.
What do they call the first segment?
The best name ever? Stork.
Oh, that is good. That's
yeah,
way better than mine.
It's,
but I would have never guessed that watching that. I mean, like, initially, when I first started watching it, I just called it Kidnapping Ring, because that's how I started my notes.
Okay, yeah.
I was like, what? They're talking about kidnapping infants.
Yes.
So I was like, Kidnapping Ring.
So, yeah, like, there's something kidnapping a bunch of kids in the area.
Infants.
Infants. At the end of the segment, they kind of released it that they're monster hunters.
Yeah, that was not clear.
It was not clear.
They look very much like beat cops. They didn't look special force.
No, they were 100% like, there was like a fucking 60-year-old man with them.
Yeah, they were just beat cops.
So they're monster hunters, and they saw monster hunting crimes in the area.
In New York. But this, I fucking love this segment.
Yeah, it's so good.
It was, the monsters look good.
So
the fighting was good. It was
weird
so
zombie things that are running through this whole entire house, and they're just going through the house, clearing it, and it's all the standpoint of body cams and one cameraman that's also a cop that's new on the monster hunting force. And I say monster hunting force, that's not a thing.
That's not a thing until the end. You don't know.
The end. But then they get to the attic, and it's like
one of the guys on the team who's had their kid stolen.
Yeah,
too, by the way.
So there's like a asteroid that crashed through the house, and it's like, invasion of the body snatcher type thing, but it's not.
And then they showed a really creepy person they just let go. That thing scared the shit out of me.
And it's an alien that looks like a stork.
No, the
alien. I mean, the zombie-looking thing walked on most of the baby. But the main bad guy is
a really cool-looking...
It's a alien bird...
Mosquito
type thing.
But they noticed that, like, all of these zombies are missing their brains completely.
Yeah.
And when they got to the attic, they found this thing sucking out the brains of one of their teammates. And I was like, oh, cool. And then they fed it to a baby, and they noticed the babies are turning into these weird aliens. And they killed the monster, and that was it. I loved it.
It's good.
That was such a strong beginning.
What did you call the second segment?
Paparazzi.
Dream Girl. Yeah, okay. It's a Bollywood idol, I think that's what they call them. And she's like doing a music video and getting overstressed and work, and the paparazzi come and try to take pictures of her, and she glitches the fuck out because she's a robot. And
well, she doesn't like to be told what to do, and she wants a normal life, and the guy's like, oh, I could be like you. And she's like, well, I'll just wear your face instead. And he's like, what? And then she rips off her face and reveals she's a robot. And he's like, oh, fuck. And then she kills literally everybody. And then rips the guy's face off and wears it. And very poorly.
Poses pictures.
That one's not great, but...
it's not.
It's okay. That always happened. I mean, it wasn't bad, but it was like, whatever. All right, what's the next one called?
Live and Let Dive.
Oh, clever. I just called it Drop Zone.
This is the scariest one.
Jesus.
I've never even been skydiving, and I was terrified during this entire thing. You've been skydiving.
Yeah.
And this didn't bother you?
No.
Other than, obviously, you're not going to run into a UFO and the sky.
So, yeah, these people are skydiving around a UFO, and then they crash into a UFO.
Mm-hmm.
But guess what? Most of them survive it because they have parachutes.
This is true.
So the scary part isn't the parachute part.
It's the aliens.
It's the aliens that hunt them down in an orange grove.
Yes, it's true. But visually, this is really cool, especially running through the orange grove and everything like that. And the alien looks okay. But the orange grove running, I don't know why, but it reminded me of Mortal Kombat. Why are we so much alike?
It's just like, it's Mortal Kombat. Yeah, it was fine.
It's fine. It's fine.
When he got abducted in the truck, that was cool looking.
Cool.
It's
a good segment.
It was a good segment. It was a little longer than it needed to be, I think.
It was a lot longer than it needed to be.
The alien, you don't really know what the aliens were doing. I think it just felt like they were killing. And it kind of felt like, look, man, I'm going to go ahead and say this now. Maybe the reason why people show Alien as grays and always naked and always doing anal stuff, maybe those are the weird ditty aliens that come to Earth to do weird shit to people because it's not accepted on their alien worlds. Like, get that, their race is their species or whatever they are, whatever alien planet, they wear clothes, they're sophisticated, they don't anally probe things, it's just not normal. Like, oh, that's really weird. And they're like, oh, we gotta go find some animal to backdoor. I feel like that's what the aliens are, and these
weren't doing that. They had like Baraka blades.
They had Baraka blades, and then laser faces.
Laser faces.
Yeah. It was.
Anyway, it's.
But where do you think about my theory about the aliens? I'm interested. Do you think that's possible? That that's why the only aliens we run into are fucking weird
the
ones?
aliens that come down here are like the redneck, rapey kind.
Yeah, not necessarily. Yeah, just
that's
weird
what they're
ones.
doing.
Just super weird ones. They're trying to.
I can't get my kicks off.
Yeah, they're
exhibitionists
from their planet. Like we can't do it normal. Like
yes, artists they're the scientists because the scientists would be doing that part.
I don't think scientists.
Yes, that's what they do.
Scientists don't do science naked.
Maybe they have gland problems.
Look, man, I think my theory stands.
Yeah, sure.
I think it stands.
Next segment.
I call it animal rescue.
You should just call it Tusk.
It is. Well, when I watched this, I'm like, oh, this is the Justin Long one because you heard.
I knew Justin Long was doing a segment,
and I didn't know which one.
Fur babies, and I didn't know which one
until I watched it. Like, oh, this is Justin Long.
And Justin Long, if you've never seen Tusk, you should go watch that movie. It's okay.
Or just watch the segment, and watch the segment, the same
and
thing.
it's picture a walrus instead of dogs, and it's the exact same fucking movie. Justin Long was the main star in Tusk. And Kevin Smith was the director of Tusk. I don't fucking know why Tusk exists. I don't know why this exists.
I mean, it's well done.
It's well done. Yeah, and I like Justin Long. I really do. I love Justin Long as this full blown going like I like horror. I'm going to continue to do horror.
I loved him in Barbarian.
Yeah, he's awesome in Barbarian. So.
I like Justin Long in general. So
yeah, I did too. Yeah,
I think what he did in this movie, if I was Kevin Smith, I'd be a little annoyed. To be honest with you,
I feels like Justin Long called Kevin Smith and be like, "You remember Tusk? Yeah, I remember Tusk. That was awesome. Good time." He's like, "Wait until my movie comes out. Here's my homage to Tusk." Because you can't do this movie. Justin Long can't do this movie and go, "Oh, I wasn't thinking about Tusk at all when I was doing this movie."
There's no one alive.
Nobody
that knows Tusk.
And if he's going to say that, Kevin Smith should sue.
And by the way, Kevin Smith is not that kind of person.
Yeah, he's not.
He is. I don't
know if you just saw. Somebody made a fan design and was selling T-shirts, and he's like, "Yeah, those shirts are awesome. Can you mail me a bunch?" He's like, "I've been trying to get in touch with you." He's like, "Oh no, just sell the shirts. So make him all the money you want on it." That's the kind of guy Kevin Smith is.
He's definitely the guy. Is like, I just like making movies because I like making movies with my friends and doing what I want.
Sometimes they're bad.
A lot of times they're bad. But I love Kevin Smith. So.
I do too.
All right, so yeah, I mean, it's something.
It's Tusk, but dogs.
Yeah.
Maybe we weren't clear about, but they make dogs instead of walruses.
Out of people.
Yeah, remove jaws and
add paws to them and train them to be like certain things.
It's uncountable. There you go.
Yeah, it's strange. All right, what do they call the next one?
Stowaway.
I call it Close Encounters.
Yeah, okay.
But this one is the most thematic one.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, it definitely is more mature than the rest.
And we already kind of talked about this, but we know this director, we know this writer.
Yeah, so. It's Mike Flanagan and Katie Siegel Siegel, and it's good. It's really good. good.
It's good. Yeah,
It's a little slow in the beginning, but she finds an alien craft and
yeah.
gets
There's
in it.
a lot of exposition in this that wasn't really necessary. I just saying, I don't care. It didn't help anything.
They're storyteller. Mike Flanagan's a storyteller.
Yeah, I know. There's this like a bunch of her backstory about, and I assume she's like left her husband and kid at home, and like
I thought that was her as a kid.
no,
That was an old video.
Her kid.
I thought that was.
I think
her
that's
as,
her kid.
Oh.
That's her kid that she left at home, and she's trying to prove to her husband that
Was that ever said?
Yes!
I missed it then.
that she's chasing UFOs is her dream, and then she gets in a UFO and doesn't die, unfortunately.
Yeah.
The one time that you want to die, it's not allowed. So
Honestly, like I was kind of whatever about this one until that happened, which
Yeah,
is the
no,
very end. And I was
yeah,
like,
yeah.
oh, and then it made all of it incredible.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
like, oh, that was super
like
cool.
the ending of it like makes the entire thing,
Yeah.
because this one has a problem that I have with some of the VHSs where they're hard to see because it's so black and grainy and moving around too much.
Mm-hmm.
This has that to the fucking extreme where I turn the brightness up on my TV just so I can see anything, and then I realize you still can't see anything.
Yeah. But like, so she cut herself on the thing, and then these nanobots came out and healed her, and she's like, oh, that's incredible. But she keeps like, she's surrounded by these weird razor wires that and then she gets thrown into
more
space.
razor wires. They're like guitar strings.
Yeah. And she gets thrown into space, and it jolts her around, but the nanobots come out and heal her. But they don't heal her right. But they won't let her die, and when they show her, she's just this grotesque,
like slitting her own throat. And
she's
just
this
getting
grotesque
killed.
thing that she's like, just let me die, and she tried to kill herself, and they brought her back to life. She's like, no. And then the epilogue was kind of okay. They showed the videotapes of proof of alien life, which is what the whole documentary was about throughout the whole thing. And the alien was creepy. And then I don't know why they showed all the way into the guy's throat.
Yeah, that was the weirdest part of the whole entire movie.
The alien looked cool.
Yeah, the alien looked fine. I just don't know why I needed to see down literally the guy's throat.
Yeah.
And actually, I watched that entire scene and I rewinded it and like, how did they do that? They might have just shot down somebody's fucking throat.
I don't think someone's throat does whatever weird thing was in it.
I think it does. I think our throats just do that, man.
All right, so now that we talked about them all, let's rank them from worst to best.
You want to alternate?
Yeah, let's alternate.
Yeah, okay. Least favorite, we'll disagree on this because I think we do agree on this.
All right, well, then I'll go first, and you just say yay or nay. VHS Viral.
Yeah, it's the worst. It's dog shit. Even though it has one of my favorite segments. But the rest of the whole movie is a dog shit.
And it was glorified. They were trying to do something, and it just wasn't well done.
Yeah, I agree. This officially killed the franchise when this movie came out because nobody wanted to watch any more VHSs after this fucking movie.
Thank God for Shudder, man. Save Slasher too. Because Slasher came out.
Not a sponsor, but should be.
Get on it, Shudder. We'll. I mean, we're already paying you. You might as well just endorse us. You don't even have to pay us. All right, next up, what do you got?
85.
That's exactly what I got. 85. All right, cool. All right, next up.
99.
That's what I got. Hell yeah.
Are we the same?
I don't think so. All right, so next up, I got VHS Beyond.
I got VHS.
Okay.
Number one. And Beyond's my next one.
Okay, because my next one is VHS.
Yeah.
All right, there we go. My next one is VHS 94.
That's 94.
All right.
And
Top dog, obviously.
2 is It's the best.
It's the best.
It's the best out of all of them. The bumper is it's throwaway, and I think bumpers are throwaway, and they should be. They should just be the carry on.
But it's okay.
But it's okay. But the movies, the segments that happen inside of it are absolutely fucking perfect. So
yeah, I mean, and
this kind of like no matter what was just.
The zombie bike ride.
The zombie bike ride and Safe Haven to me, or my 2 favorite segments in all of VHS. It's just so fucked. And this is when I know it's always different directors and it's different writers, but this is the direction I wish it would always stayed, and it wouldn't have got too viral if they would have stayed in like this kind of realm.
Yeah, super great. All right, yeah, I kind of suspected our list would go that way.
And the problem is anything other than VHS 2 and viral, and another day that range might be a little bit different. It might change.
Although I do feel like 94 is strong.
94 is very strong.
I mean,
and Beyond's very strong to me too.
Beyond is strong,
and it might just because it's so new and it's not bad.
It could be that.
Yeah.
But I think I rated VHS higher than Beyond.
Yeah.
And the fact that I feel like that kind of started it, so it's like maybe a weird loyalty to how it started the franchise.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, like, and again, I think it was scary. scarier. I don't think Beyond is that scary.
It's not. Yeah.
Whereas I feel like VHS was full on going to be scary.
Yes.
That was their goal. And I think they did a really good job because it is scary.
I mean, other than Viral and 85, I wouldn't switch 85, which I don't think 85's
85 will not be worse than Viral.
No, it can't be. I agree with that list. So, yeah, I'm cool with it.
Cool. All right. That's it. That's our list. You can agree. You can disagree.
Let us know what your list is, what segment. Actually, just to let us
Tell
know
us
what
your
your
favorite
favorite segments. Because it's hard to rank the movies as a whole because there's like bad segments and good segments. So let us know what your favorite segments are. That would probably be the easiest way to. We're being assholes and like breaking it down by movie.
But we did go by each one. This is going to be a relatively long episode, unintentionally. But I mean, like
it's a lot of segments.
It's
4 segments per movie, and we got 7 movies.
and we ran through them. I feel like pretty quickly. So
we're still over an hour. So we're over an hour podcast, and we're just talking about the VHS franchise. So
and I'll be honest with you, it's as much as I like the VHS franchise, I don't know if it warrants that much talk time.
I'm so glad we wasted an hour and a half of our life and 2 hours of me editing it. Yeah.
To be fair, I do think that VHS is becoming more culturally accepted as a phenomenon, and that
100%. And it's all just Shudder. It's all Shudder. And like, and I know I think they already announced the next movie because this one did really, really, really well. Beyond, which it's only been out a week, and tons of people are talking about it. So I want this to continue in this direction. Get away from the era stuff like 99 and 94 and 80, whatever it is, because that was like a fad that everything went through in the past few years. Like it's do everything 80s or do everything like let's remember the 90s. Yes, they were better times, we all know, but like let's just move beyond.
Well, you know what, I'm not gonna say that. I want to see what they're capable of doing, and it could be good, it could be bad, we don't know, and that's the thing.
Give me a 60s one, give me some good Fallout music. How cool is it?
Well, and I thought about that. What would it look like when you had old film cameras that had no sound?
Oh, actually, that'd be. I don't know a whole movie of that, but give me a segment now.
Exactly. What if it was just segments?
Yeah.
Of an overall storyline of things happening.
You want like silent movie era where they have like the
hold up,
the nopes in the middle, or what?
I want. Okay, what if it's a movie of everything prior to modern, super modern, like all the way to 80s. Mm-hmm. So from silent,
so like
all the way,
from like Charlie Chaplin stuff.
Yeah, every segment is a different era of that,
and moving up to
because you're right. You can't do a whole movie of silent movies because you'd be like, what the fuck is happening?
I'll watch a Charlie Chaplin like section, of
them trying to film it, like what's going on, and like that'd be cool.
Yeah, no, actually,
or from the 50s and 60s with the and then you got the Super 8 from the 70s.
I'm like you that you're doing the Crank, and I had to say Crank since we're on a audio podcast.
Whatever, man, you gotta do it.
So anyway, that's our podcast. That's our ranking. Let us know your segments. Let us know.
And if you take this idea, Shudder, just drop us a like, follow, sponsor us, give us money,
a shout out,
love,
pat on the back, pat on the ass, a review,
a reach around, something.
So go leave us a review. Everybody that's listening to this podcast on any of your favorite podcast app, goes to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Go share this podcast with your friends that you think that might like VHS, which should be all of them. If they don't like it, or just fuck them.
If you like any of our other old shows, just show them those because we have a lot of them.
And by the way, our old shows, thank you for the positive response for the 13 Nights of Halloween. As usual, it's our Black Friday. So, thank you for listening to that. And thank you for listening to this show. We will see you next time. We are going to be doing a review, a double feature review, actually. We got to announce the movie. So, my movie for the double feature is Full Eclipse.
You son of a bitch. You son of a bitch. I thought I found a movie that you would have never heard of, because this was an HBO, like, straight to DVD before DVD.
This is technically a TV movie.
Dude, this movie made me like Mario Van Peebles. I watched Posse because of this.
I've been loving that guy for a long time.
Dude,
Full Eclipse came out in 1993, and it is a direct to HBO. Back when HBO was like the streaming service, which was just a cable channel, and you can find this on nowhere. It's not even on HBO Max because I looked. They own the fucking movie, and it's not on there.
I'm so mad at you right now because look, hold it, check this out. I actually have a list of double feature movies I want to do, and look, and you can see.
Was it high on the list?
It was, but you can see where I typed it because it is right after the movie that we talked about prior.
Fortress,
yeah. So I mean,
how would you not think I would know about this? It's a fucking 90s action movies. I usually don't know about. Sometimes I know about.
Because look. I know you have a deep love for werewolf stuff.
I do.
But I thought it was like so under the radar as a werewolf movie.
It was until somebody introduced it to me.
I fucking knew it. Because I watched this. I watched this on HBO. I was a little kid watching this. I'm like, what? I remember this movie. Okay, go ahead.
So anyway, that's my movie. You might be able to find this on YouTube. I think you can watch the whole entire movie on YouTube. But the last time I tried to watch it, it was region locked. So you might have to use a VPN. If not, you have to steal it somewhere.
All right, fuck it. I'm just gonna go ahead and copy you like I did last time when you picked Crime Zone. I'm gonna do Wolf Cop.
You're gonna pick another werewolf.
Yep.
Cop movie.
Yep.
Awesome. All right.
Because I am so familiar with Fully Clips that I could. Yep, that's it.
All right. Well, those are the two movies. Wolf Cop is, I think, probably all over the place. You can find that. It might be on Shudder too, or Amazon.
I think it's Amazon.
Yeah, it might be Amazon.
It used to be on Netflix.
So yeah, those are the two movies for the next podcast for a double feature. We'll be talking about and reviewing those two movies. Until then, we have been your hosts. I am Snarf Chris.
I'm Critter.
Good journey, nerds.
Good journey.
Jam. I gotta tell ya, it's just how I am. 'Cause this is the Crib Jam.